So I was on my way over the sea and I encountered a bit of land. I figured may as well just walk over this bit, see what I can find. I was pretty sure none of this terrain had been explored before because we're still about 5,000 blocks out from spawn, and I was travelling across this snowy plains and I found this. And this gets me so excited. This is a biome I haven't even encountered in Minecraft before. I don't know if anyone on the server has found this. I'm kind of thinking they might have, because a couple of these spikes don't look particularly like spiky. Specifically this one, which looks kind of like a sword. Like that. I don't know if anyone has just like carved down one of these ice spikes, but packed ice. Guys, this is awesome. And I'm gonna, just in case nobody has found this, oh, these are the coordinates. You probably saw that anyway, but here they are. I'm going to bring back a stack of packed ice for everybody. I feel like that's only the right thing to do in the circumstances, and I'm sorry if I'm destroying somebody's sword sculpture here, but I don't know if anyone's found this. I've certainly never seen it in a video, and it may be that it's just a video that I haven't seen. I haven't watched a lot of Oviraptor or B-Ran's early videos, so I haven't kind of got them all the way through, but check this place out. This is immense. Before I logged out to, restart Minecraft so I could record it. And yeah, I mentioned this to Clandle and he was like, nice. So just look at that. That is automatically generated by Minecraft code. That is fascinating to me, and it looks incredible. Like, it looks so cool. I don't know if these are just regular kind of standard features of these biomes. I don't know if this is just meant to be like a little frozen landscape, or if somebody's already come down and has hacked down a little piece of that. But there's actual auto-generated snow blocks here as well, which is kind of cool, and it just kind of like segues into this tiger biome. Wait, is that a nether portal? Maybe someone has been here before. Oh, fantastic, there is a portal out here. Brilliant. So I am not the first. But what is going on there? I assume that's just some kind of weird glitch, but okay. That's pretty weird, guys. Anyway, packed ice, cool. I will bring everyone back a stack anyway, like I said I was going to, because, I want to be at least a little bit cool about this. Part of me doesn't want to tear down some of these things because they look amazing, and the landscape is just so weird. It looks like there are a bunch of creeper holes around here, actually, so somebody may have come here and it's been the middle of the night, and yeah, that is definitely a creeper hole. Boom. Okay, let me grab a couple of these ones from the periphery, just so I'm not smashing up some of the more interesting looking ones. I feel like it's kind of a shame that someone has already discovered this, but then again, this is a server that's been around for a while, at least in this iteration of it, so I assume that someone will have found a lot of the interesting stuff. I'm still looking for a mushroom island biome at this point, and hopefully later on in this video I will have found one. But yeah, this has kind of taken me in a really interesting direction, and it's really neat finding some of the stuff that I've never encountered in Minecraft before, even if some of the other people on the server have. Cool. I won't make you guys watch me break down the rest of these, but yeah, I will probably end up with a few stacks of packed ice to bring back to the people elsewhere on the server. Hello everyone, it's post-commentary Pixlriffs here. I actually recorded a lot of this without being on mic, so I figured I would show you some of the footage and catch you up on what happened after that. So, once I'd finished gathering up a bunch of packed ice, I discovered the portal in the ice spike biome led to a mostly unexplored section of the nether, but somebody had set up a hole in the nether roof, which you'll actually see in one of Kane's videos that came out a couple of weeks ago. I'll link to that in the video description in case you haven't seen that. But I decided to make it a project to link up the ice spike biome to one of the nether hubs, and the faraway hub seemed like the obvious choice. It had a bunch of free tunnels, and I didn't want to end up segueing off somebody else's tunnels, so I think it was slightly closer as well. But I've sped up this footage footage because the portal needed to be about 500 blocks away from the faraway hub, which is a pretty big distance even in the nether. And you saw the coordinates earlier, it's about 5,000 blocks away from spawn in the overworld. It takes a long time to sprint the distance of this tunnel, so I figured I'd have to install some kind of faster way of getting around if I was going to visit the ice spike biome with any regularity, or help other people visit if they wanted to go. I'd already dug out an area for the new portal at the end of this tunnel, so I had to go back and destroy the portals that had already been created to get to the ice spike biome. There was this one down here on the nether floor, and I keep meaning to come back to this area because there's a bunch of exposed quartz around it. I can always use some quartz. I've been using quartz a lot in my other builds, which you'll probably see in an upcoming video. So I destroyed the portal kind of on the nether floor, destroyed the one a little bit further up in the ceiling, which had obviously been created to have safe access back to the ice spike biome, and then I built my own portal right at the end of the tunnel. And once that was done, I took a moment to step through to check it out, and luckily for me, it worked just fine. I took a moment to look around while I was in the ice spike biome again, and it was night time, so I didn't want to blow up any more of the scenery in case creepers decided to spawn, but there's just some really impressive scenery there. It's pretty cool looking. So I decided to go and leave the chest of packed ice at everyone's bases right then and there, just so I could get that out of the way and work on decorating the tunnel. I went and left a chest surrounded by mushroom blocks in everybody's bases apart from Jefferson, because he already had a mail drop kind of box set up in his jungle cave, so I ended up just leaving the packed ice in there. Most of them have already collected their ice on camera. I'm not sure what anyone's really going to do with it yet, and I really just wanted to kind of share the blocks around and not kind of hoard it all for myself, so I figured it was kind of nice to drop that off with some chests. Now, next thing to do was go back to Mushroom, hire myself a Brian, and start shoveling snow like my life depended on it, because I wanted to coat the entire tunnel in snow and ice, which is a really ambitious project considering that I wanted to make the tunnel this wide and it's over 500 blocks long. I figured it'd be best to set up a minecart system, since it was long distance to travel with the floor iced. That'd take a lot of hunger if you're doing the ice kind of jumping method. Plus I had a bunch of rails from the abandoned mineshaft I discovered back in episode 3 and 4 of this series. I decided to go kind of all out decorating the tunnel. I was on holiday from work at the time, so I could really get stuck into a project, and I converted a bunch of snow into sheets and started laying down ice, and lighting was always going to be a problem, seeing as if you place a light source too close to the ice blocks they would melt, but snow blocks are fine. So I placed a lot of torches in shafts kind of covered by stained glass at the top and coated entirely in snow, so you can't see any of the netherrack that's showing. I eventually decided against putting carpets over it, although I'm kind of doing that in this footage because I decided they kind of stuck out against the snow a little bit more than the stained glass on its own did. It kind of goes quite nicely with the ice, I think. Another detail I wanted to add was some snowflakes, and I started doing this with stained glass, but even the panes of stained glass kind of hanging from the ceiling looked a little bit more like ice than I wanted to. So one of the things I decided to do was head back to Mushroom, enchant some shears with a silk touch book that I had left over from my enchantments, and go back to the abandoned mine shaft for some cobwebs. I named the shears Webmaster because I'm a massive nerd. But once I had those with me, I headed back to the abandoned mine shaft from episodes 3 and 4, and another abandoned mine shaft which I can't remember if I've shown on camera yet, but if I haven't, it's in an upcoming episode. I think it might be the next one. Me and Kane found an abandoned mine shaft completely full of cobwebs and the usual kind of stuff, and cave spiders and a few zombies and some diamonds underneath the temple from the Wither episode, the last episode, which is actually the site of the desert temple that we blew up. So yeah, we found that, we turned that into a bit of a treasure run, and it worked out a little bit better than the first time around. So I gathered as many cobwebs as I could from the abandoned mineshaft and used them to decorate the tunnel as snowflakes, and they kind of serve a dual purpose actually, because they're kind of handy for trapping the zombie pigmen in there, because regardless of how much I lit the tunnel up, they were going to spawn in there, and I tried a few different ways of getting them to kind of stop spawning in various areas. If I piled it up with sheets of snow, I thought that might help a little bit, but it turns out they're just going to spawn in there whatever I do, so I figured the cobwebs would at least slow them down. A little bit further along with the project, I spotted the armor stands that Swordfish had left around spawn to advertise his gallery at the thriving metropolis of Trevor, and I wanted to borrow one of those for the tunnel, but it turns out I couldn't really borrow one because they have to be adjusted with commands, and breaking it would just break it and turn it back into a regular armor stand. So Kane logged on and helped me out with the command to give it an arm, and I decorated it with armor, and a little way along the tunnel, you'll see it in a minute, he's just standing there, looked like he's kind of mining his way into this ice flow. I think that's a really neat little detail. I was really happy with that when it came out. It looked pretty awesome. Seeing as me and Kane had spent a little bit of time in this tunnel, he'd already seen the whole project. We decided to play around a little bit, had a couple of chases on the minecarts. This one we were joking was pretty much like a car chase. He should have been like firing something back at me, and I think in a minute he tries to nail me with a flaming arrow, which doesn't turn out so well, and I was a little bit worried was going to burn down the entire tunnel. It was going to just melt all the snow and ice, and pop, there it is. Yeah, he nearly got me with that one, but here it is. Here is the finished tunnel. This is actually not quite 100% finished. I added in a couple of the cobwebs that you can see in my inventory afterwards, but I wanted to get a nice smooth shot of this without any zombie pigmen in the way, so I hurried in there before they spawned, and this is the finished trip. And there we are, back in the Ice Plain Spikes biome, and it's an absolutely beautiful day, and you've arrived just in time to see an Enderman stealing the block of dirt. Go get him! Yeah, I actually have a couple of plans to drag a couple of the DV members out here and get them involved with this area, because I think it's really cool to show off on camera, but enough of me yakking for now. So, from Decidedly Vanilla's newly rediscovered Ice Plain Spikes biome, thanks very much for watching. I have been Pixlriffs, and I'll see you guys soon.